Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Ingram Johnson. Thanks for tuning in to another boxing TV, Bayloric TV boxing channel. Let's just make sure that we've got our broadcast, which is live, and then we can get going. Ingram Johnson, thanks for tuning in to another boxing TV, Bayloric TV boxing channel. So let's get straight into it. We've just finished watching, or those people may still be watching, the show regarding Reece Bellotti still fighting at the moment. I think he was on the verge of stopping the guy, may or may not. But I want to get this in and out the way, get these thoughts out the way, so I can get my head down and get a little bit of rest before George Groves fights tonight. So of course, you know, Dillian Whyte and Anthony Joshua are scheduled to fight on December the 12th. So we all know that Joshua had to get rid of Gary Cornish, and Dillian Whyte had to get rid of Brian Minto. Let's start with Dillian Whyte first. Dillian Whyte is considered the villain, even though he now considers himself the body snatcher. And it's quite interesting, that is, because, you know, I think the fact that Dillian doesn't want to promote himself as the villain, Sky seem to have taken that and used that as the villain and painted him as the villain, the bad guy, rather than the ambitious one, the one that has a bit of ambition, the one who wants to do something good for himself and for his family, for his, you know, if it's his wife or his missus and his kids. There's nothing wrong with that, you know, to have ambition in life. And he's unbeaten, equally unbeaten, and has a lot to say. And if you listen to Dillian Whyte, he speaks truth. There's nothing he's saying that's not true. He's just an ambitious fighter who wants to become the best at what he does. And there's nothing wrong. You can't fault him for that. So let's go back to the Dominic Gwynn thing. I contacted Dominic Gwynn, and for what he told me, the reason why he wasn't prepared to come and fight Dillian Whyte was because he wasn't getting paid enough money. That's what Dominic Gwynn told me. And then sort of disappeared into the dust. And about 3 to 4 days later on, we hear that Gwynn has pulled out the fight, and now we've got a Minto. So a change of opponent, a change of style. Dominic Gwynn is a lot bigger than Brian Minto. Brian Minto's pretty small in comparison. Dillian Whyte, lot of talk has been made about him joining with Jonathan Banks. It's official now, they've been together, although they've worked together before at Klitschko camps. Now they're an official team. You've got to wonder how much Banks can actually invest in Dillian Whyte, considering the Klitschko fight is just around the corner now with Fury. Dillian Whyte said he's got holes in his game. He admits he's got holes in his game, and that's why he's got with Banks. Now, I said this before, and fight fans, people have said to me that I might be off my rocker, but I've said Dillian Whyte is not ready for this fight yet. Now James Elibashir gave me the best example as to how to describe how I'm feeling here. The difference between, you want to cross a road. Do you cross a road when there's 2 cars going past, or do you cross a road when there's 10 cars going? So you want to go when it's less busy. So it's not the case of, it's timing. And I don't feel that, despite the public clamour for this Joshua Dillian Whyte, this fight is not in Dillian Whyte's best interest at this minute in time. Because if he doesn't beat Anthony Joshua, then he'll always be thinking to himself, I didn't get enough time to prepare. Now, this fight tonight against Brian Minto, now remember, Brian Minto was significantly smaller than Dillian Whyte, and Minto came out in the first round and came and gave it a go. He was a late substitute. We had six or 7 day notice to come in and fight Dillian Whyte. And I've seen substitutes in the past, first time they get licked with a punch, they fall down. This guy, Brian Minto, stood there, took flush shots, and stood in front of Dillian Whyte and gave it a go. Dillian Whyte learned much more in that fight than a fight if he just got in there in front of the left hook and the guy fall over, like the Costa fight. He learned more in that fight there. Because if he'd gone in there and just hit Minto and dropped him and gone away to camp now, those defensive flaws would have been there. only Dillian Whyte and Banks know if he was really injured or not. Dillian Whyte did look sloppy. He did look vulnerable when throwing punches. He left himself open. He was got hit flush way too often. And, you know, you've got to think to yourself, if Brian Minto was a puncher, we could have been seeing some serious problems here. Having said that, if the rumors are true that when David Haye was hitting Dillian Whyte with his best shots, David Haye couldn't move Dillian Whyte. If that's true, then Dillian Whyte's got a good chin. If those rumors are true, bearing in mind, though, this is sparring. However, Dillian Whyte took the shots, and at one point, Minto did have Whyte against the ropes, but Whyte has always got that power. He's always had that power, and you know he's a bigger man. Of course, when he caught Minto with the right hand, I think it was the right hand, he dropped him, which was good. Dropped him, and then the second round, Minto came out again and got caught with a shot, and that was the end of it. But for me, my concerns are, again, Dillian Whyte got hit way too often. And you got to think to yourself, if Anthony Joshua landed no shots on Dillian Whyte, then that's not good. So I'm glad he got hit in the fight. I'm glad he got hit. I'm glad that Minto exchanged, because now he can go back to camp and say, hey, you know what? I got hit with way too many punches. But there's a good thing about that, is because Dillian Whyte's prepared to put himself in the pocket. He's prepared to put himself engaged. The thing is, Dillian Whyte knew himself. Well, you know what? This is a small boy here. This ain't a big man. This is a small man. He's a cruiserweight. So I'll be able to bully him and throw and do what I want to do. Whether Dillian Whyte will take that same approach against Anthony Joshua might be suicidal. But against Minto, you know, I don't even know those punches that Minto was throwing. Did any of those punches shake up Dillian Whyte? I don't know, because I wasn't taking the punches. And nobody really asked him, did any of those punches that Minto hit you, did they shake you up at all? I mean, he just walked through it, which is fine. But of course, you cannot walk in straight lines and leave your chin in the air, and you know, you can't do those sort of things. So he's got an injury again. Another thing you've got to ask yourself, boxing fans, Dillian Whyte and injuries. He's injured, his hand's been injured before, his shoulder's now injured. Is he going to be a fighter that's always going to be injury prone? And in the biggest fight of his career, will he be coming in 100% fit? And as for game plans and Jonathan Banks, you don't know what Jonathan Banks can give Dillian Whyte, because when he gets seriously hit, then you're going to know whether that game plan is, you know, going to be effective or not. So, you know, it's the quality sparring that Dillian Whyte gets between now and fight time against Joshua. That's going to be key. You can see that Sky really want to, you know, promote Joshua. Joshua's their man. Joshua is their man. They're invested all the money in Joshua. So yeah, I will get through to what my thoughts are about Joshua, and then I'll take any questions or comments that are in the room. In fact, let me see who's in the room now, because we've got quite a few people in the room. Yep, let's go. IJ, good evening. Marky B, good evening. Jamie Patterson, good evening. UK Boxing News, good evening. Chris Golding, how are we doing? Dillian looked gutted after his fight. Yeah, he did. Chris Golding highlighted bad shoulder, which doesn't bode well. Explosive win for Joshua. We can get onto that. Terence Talbot says, really supplied by Peter Few's comments on yours and Adam Forsey's show. There is no way this is a 50-50 fight. I certainly hope Dillian was injured, or it could be an early night at the O2. Very interesting. People are you know, what's the word? They're concerned about Dillian Whyte's performance. What I will say to you, fight fans, is this: big fight temperament. Has Dillian Whyte got big fight temperament? Will he freeze on the biggest occasion? Will he get nervous on the biggest occasion, or will he be a better fighter come fight night, or will he freeze on the biggest fight of his career? Because if he was nervous, that was a big fight for him. He seemed slightly nervous. So will that affect, and will the big atmosphere and all the pressure, the big fight atmosphere, will that get to Dillian Whyte? Let's remember, I think Dillian Whyte only fought in the amateurs. And of course, Joshua fought in the amateurs, but experience. Joshua went on a fought at world level. And will that experience tell? So, you know, good evening, Zeta Creation. So, you know, for Dillian Whyte, it wasn't a good performance. It didn't look good. And if he wasn't injured, That's not good. That's not good if he wasn't injured. But let's bear in mind the change of opponent. If it was an injury there, big occasion, having to get through the fight, bit of pressure put on your shoulders, wanting to look good. So we can put that. Let's say that's a fight that Joshua Minter got through, and fine, let's push on with it. Okay, then we had Gary Cornish. I don't know why he was skipping for as long as he was skipping. I don't know if that was for nervous energy or to warm himself up. Why he was skipping, I don't know. And he was skipping in the dressing room and there was no trainer there. That was interesting. What, is he training himself? The next thing I would ask the question, Gary Cornish, when he was skipping, I was kind of wondering if he was trying to do a commercial for Betfair, because you've seen the guy in the Betfair commercial, he was skipping as well. So I was wondering if Gary Cornish was maybe auditioning for that. But yeah, so anyway, come fight time, all the big hype, Anthony Joshua showing us that he can count from 13 down to 0. So that's good. He can count from 13 back to 0, 13, 12, 11, 10, whatever. You get the drift. And I guess that was a pretty rip-off of a Klitschko thing. Klitschko can do it. Klitschko can get away with that stuff. But if Klitschko started counting, we'd be here until tomorrow, waiting for Klitschko to get from 60 odd fights or 55 fights, how many fights he's had, right back, and looking at all the string of knockouts he's had against quality opposition. Let's not go there. Anyway, Joshua, as he does, comes to the ring, does his thing, jumping up and down. You know, confident, believes he's going to get rid of Cornish. I was slightly disturbed by Gary Cornish using the tune Can't Stop by Red Hot Chili Peppers, also used by Vladimir Klitschko. Bit disturbing because it's one of my favorite tunes. Always like Red Hot Chili Peppers. Disturbing tune because now, whenever I listen to that tune, I'm going to see Gary Cornish being splattered across the canvas. But anyway, let's move on. Anyway, moving forward. Ding ding, round 1, and our friend Gary Cornish comes flying out the corner. First round. Well, I wanted to come fly out the corner first round. And I saw a couple of jabs. I thought, oh, okay, he's getting a jab out. But I thought, you know, double up the jab, pull right in quickly. Come on, do something with some sort of ambition, you know. Double jab, straight right hand down the pipe. Let's see some sort of, you know, stupid two sloppy jabs. And then, of course, he's open to the right hand. If you look at all Cornish's fights, and I did say in the pre-fight build-up, I'm not trying to be a know-it-all after the fight. Cornish drops his left hand very low, and it's easy to get counted over the top of the right hand. And what knocks him over? The right hand. And that's it. Murder, she wrote. It's all over. More or less, one right hand. Of course, watching that fight, after watching that fight, you've got to say to yourself, if Joshua hits any guy whose chin isn't good enough, he's going to knock him over. Against a durable opponent, the durable opponent may have taken that. The durable pro were taking it. A quality fighter will take that punch, slip that punch, and then get caught with that punch. But Cornish is not that. And we move on. The sad thing about things like this is that we've got people in the world of boxing, mainly on Twitter and Facebook, who haven't got a clue, who look at that knockout of Gary Cornish and then say, yep, Joshua won that fight. I don't know how knocking out Gary Cornish in the first round equates to being the second best heavyweight in the world. And that's the first thing. And I don't know how doing that also equates to he chinned Klitschko in the same way. The difference between Anthony Joshua's fight tonight and Dillian Whyte is that Dillian Whyte's opponent came and gave it a go. The other difference is Brian Minto had, what, a week to prepare? Gary Cornish had been training for how many weeks for this fight? Whyte had the better opposition. Whyte would have learned more. All Anthony Joshua knows so far, he's learned so far, is that if he hits you, you fall over. So he's got more questions to answer. He doesn't have to work on defense because he thinks his defense is cool. Whatever he's done so far is fine. What happens now if Dillian Whyte gives him a different look? What happens if Dillian Whyte is able to absorb his best shot, walk for his best shot, and hit him back? You saw in the amateurs what happened when Dillian Whyte was able to absorb his best shot and keep coming forward. At the moment, Joshua looks far more polished than Dillian Whyte. Now, the question was asked by UK Boxers News, says, you think Banks is the right man to get Whyte's chin down in December? Because without it, odds are round 1 KO again. Well, my question is this. I know Jonathan Banks is associated with Vladimir Klitschko, but Vladimir Klitschko was associated with Emmanuel Stewart. And, of course, in that corner as well, there is James Ali Bashir. I think James Ali Bashir should be training Klitschko, my personal opinion. You've got to remember Bashir taught Banks all that probably he knows. Bashir used to train Banks, right? So when you look at that, and then it's Banks that's training Klitschko, don't know. I've always seen the situation of, well, Klitschko knows so much now, trained so well by Emmanuel Stewart. It's just a case of winding up the toy and let me go out. And how good a trainer is Jonathan Banks? Who is Jonathan Banks trained? What is the Banks way of training? Don't know. He would have learned a lot of Emmanuel Stewart, would have learned a lot of Bashir, but does that make him a good trainer? Is he the man to have in the corner against Anthony Joshua? If we want to look into that, let's just take a little look into, go back to the fight against Bryant Jennings and Klitschko. If you go back and look into that fight, when Klitschko was having problems, and he was having moments of problems with Jennings, Banks told Klitschko to box Bryant Jennings. He said, you're the better boxer, box Jennings. If that was Emmanuel Stewart in the corner, or if that was Bashir in the corner, they probably would have told Klitschko to close the range down and go for the knockout against someone like Jennings. So experience could be the key here. How good is Banks? We don't know how good a trainer Banks is. Banks, everyone talks about Banks based on Vladimir Klitschko, but Vladimir Klitschko is a proven fighter. Regardless of Banks, he's still a great fighter. We don't know how good Banks is. So Banks' first project now is going to be with Dillian Whyte. Are they going to be able to be a good fit before fight time? And I mean a big fight. And will Dillian learn enough to tighten up his defense between now and fight time? The training camp's going to have to be superb. You know, he's going to have to get the right sparring in. And he's going to have to tighten up his defense. And okay, you may have walked through Joshua's best shots as an amateur. Can you do it as a pro? If you can, we've got a great fight ahead. Let's see what people are saying. Zeta Creations, 4C Sports Media says it was a cheesy ring walk. Zeta Creation says any matchroom agents in the house. Mr. Kutsi says shit house. Zeta Creation says, come on, we know you do some spying and report back to Eddie Hearn. Me? I do spying and reporting to Eddie Hearn. Me? You don't know me well enough, my friend. I could do with a few bob off Eddie. LOL, says Chris Goulding. Jamie Patterson says Whyte fought for some bogus WBC title. I think Joshua Whyte will be for a WBC title. Eliminated. Yeah, it sounds good, Jamie. That sounds about right. Banks doing some spying and reporting back to Vlad. Possibly. Chris Goulding, I think they may go down the classic route. European title. Perhaps Tepper or Chisora. Possibly. Yeah, Eddie seems to be making it after Price blowout. Yeah, well, look, let's remember, all these people are getting quite excited about Joshua. If you go back and listen to what they were saying about, just go back and listen to David Price's career before he got knocked out. Before he got knocked out by Tony Thompson. And over at Box Nation, they were saying the same things about David Price. They're here to the Klitschko's, betting to the sliced bread. If he hits you, he'll knock you out. We don't know what either of these guys are like until they get hit back. We saw Dillian Whyte get hit back, but not against a real puncher. For all you know, Dillian Whyte and Anthony Joshua might be two bully boys. Because at the moment, neither of them really been pushed back. So you don't know. And if they're both bully boys, I guess the one who gets on top of the other bully, somebody's going to have to get hit hard and push back, I think. So the first person who gets hit hard and gets pushed back is the one I think is the guy that wins the fight. The guy that can push the other guy back and put it and keep him there and not get as many punches wins the fight for me. So I don't know, people. I don't know. People are excited about this fight between Joshua and Dillian Whyte. It's British. It's a British level fight. No way are neither of them ready to be called world-ranked fighters. Thus, despite Eddie Hearn telling us that Joshua's the next best thing since sliced bread, let's see him do it against a quality operator. This fight is very much like when George Groves fought James DeGale. There was quite still in terms of novice in the you know, both quite young in their careers. One Olympic gold medalist. The other one didn't get to go to the Olympics. Groves beat Joshua in the amateur. Groves beat DeGale in the amateurs. DeGale won all the titles before Groves did. So I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. UK Boxing News says, was watching the Hearn speaking on iFilm, speaking on time frames 216, 217 for a world title. Unless Joshua goes inactive all of a sudden, how are they going to find opponents? There'll be opponents. There'll be opponents. You know, at some point, I'm sure they'll pull out Tony Thompson out of the closet. They'll, you know, possibly they'll fight Tepper. You know, depending on what Tepper does to Chisora. I'm picking Tepper to beat Chisora in that fight. I don't think Chisora's punch resistance is there anymore, but then people will probably dispute that. Yeah. The whole thing, it's interesting how they kept Joshua and Dillian Whyte apart, but yet they let Bellew and Cleverly sit in front of one another and shout verbals at one another, but there was none of that. So obviously it could be really bad blood. Who knows? Chris Golden, I saw Hay piping up. Fancy Joshua fight again. Just words at the moment. Would still draw big money next year. David Hay, he always seems to pop up and say he's going to make a comeback. In fact, I'm sure I heard him say this time last year he was going to make a comeback. I think he said it in 2014 as well. He's yet to come back. I don't know. And what's David Hay like now? His speed, reflexes have been a key for David Hay. His speed and his reflexes have been key in the past. But he's been out of the ring 2-3 years. He's not going to get any better coming back. He'll be worse coming back. I can't see him being any better. So I don't know. I don't really care, to be honest. I don't care until the man gets back in the ring. Yeah, he did gas bad against the Chisora fight. He really did. And I don't know. I don't want to hear about Hay until I see the guy back in the ring, and literally in the ring. I've seen in the ring. The round is got to go ding ding round one, and then I'll get excited about David Hay. Until that moment happens, I don't want to hear no more about David Hay. David Hay's 35 in October. There you go, 35 in October, and he's a heavyweight. Depends on speed and movement. Take Hay's speed and movement away from him. He's a guy who's a sitting target to get knocked out by some big heavyweights. He couldn't get past the left jab of Vladimir Klitschko. So he's going to have to make some serious technical refinements to deal with the big guys in the heavyweight division. Where are we now? What are thoughts? I can't really say any more. I can't really tell you any more. Apart from knocking out Gary Cornish does not make you the man to knock out Vladimir Klitschko. I'm sorry. You have to do a little bit more than that. And to find out how hard somebody really hits, you need to put him in with quality operators. Let's see him fight. You know, somebody who's going to give him some speed and some movement. Saw that David Hay interview recently. He looks done to me. More crap coming out of his mouth, says ET Creations. Indeed. Here's a fight, for example, to give you. There's two fights to give you here. Anthony Joshua against Bermain Stavern and Anthony Joshua against um, Bryant Jennings. Two fighters in particular, both for different reasons. I go for Stavern because of the punch power. Yeah, no, he didn't look great against Wilder, but for various reasons, which you've heard in my interviews. But then you've got a guy who's fought, got one gold at I think the world's amateurs, I think, has knocked out David Price and beat Helenius. How would Joshua do against Helenius now? Robert Helenius. How would he do against Helenius? I think that's a good test. I think Helenius is a good test. I think Tepper's a good test. But we've got Dillian Whyte. So we'll see how he does against Dillian Whyte. Yeah, but Dillian Whyte's going to have to tighten up his defense. He really does. Joshua Jennings. Now, let's talk about that fight. You've got someone there, Jennings, who is defensively responsible. Therefore, he wouldn't get hit with sort of right hand that Cornish got hit with. Top fighters don't get hit with right hands like that. Fighters that are defensively responsible don't get hit with right hands like that. Therefore, that's a punch you can forget about. I mean, only guys that drop their left hand down by their sides like that and leave their whole left hand side open get caught with shots like that. A la George Groves, the way he got knocked out by Carl Froch. You know, you leave your hand down there, you've got no defense whatsoever. You got your right hand here. You know, Josh Jennings gives you movement. How does Joshua do against movement? So movement's a key. And somebody who's got a good jab. Nah, it was interesting. Just by watching, if you go back and look at the technical Cornish, he used a couple of jabs able to push Joshua back, but he didn't have any ambition to throw that right hand. You know, Cornish was scared of Joshua. And if somebody's scared of you, it's different. But Joshua versus Jennings, early stoppage for AJ for me. I don't think so. If you're trying to tell me that AJ is a better boxer than Vladimir Klitschko or hits harder than Vladimir Klitschko, I would argue with you till tomorrow. I really would. Because if you're talking to Terence Talbot about an early stoppage for AJ, who's AJ for in remotely the same class as Klitschko? The Klitschko jab, the right hand, the movement. Joshua can move, but Klitschko can move much better. I think Klitschko, for me, has got the best footwork in the heavyweight division. The best footwork in the heavyweight division. The way he's able to get in and out, sprint from side to side. Klitschko's got it in terms of footwork. Look at the man's footwork. He's light on his feet, lighter than Joshua. And Joshua's jab is no way as good as Klitschko's. And Joshua hasn't fought as good as fighters, you know, as Klitschko. So I don't see how, if Klitschko couldn't stop him early, I don't see how AJ stops him. And remember, Jennings is not going to stand like how Gary Cornish just stood there and got hit. You know, you've got to think about fighters that come with ambition. Did Cornish come with ambition? He talked like he had ambition. First time he got hit, he had no ambition. So I would argue to the ground that this fanboy stuff is not good. Technique, styles, ability. As Dillian Whyte said, Joshua's fought nobody in the top 200, his top 100, I think it was. So I don't know. I don't know. And that's why I look at it as that. I'm looking forward to see Dillian Whyte fight Anthony Joshua. Let's move away from the Joshua thing now. There's other things in boxing to talk about. Clearly, George Groves going to be fighting for the WBC Super Middleweight Championship of the World against Badou Jack. I've said it before and I'll say it again. If George Groves cannot get Badou Jack out in the first 6 of this fight, it spells trouble for George Groves. You know, the George Groves that fought under Adam Booth, I liked his style. In and out. In and out. I like that style. That suits George Groves because I don't think George has got the greatest chin. And I don't think George is one of these fighters that takes punishment very well. So you don't really want to be in the pocket. And when you, like George does, he fights, but he's got his legs, his stance is very wide. And when you've got your legs wide, stance is wide like that, it's very hard for you to get out of the way of punches when you've got your stance so wide. Because you're wide, your stance is wide like that. And that's what he's doing now. He's planting his feet more now as a boxer. If you look at the way he plants his feet now, his last 2 fights he's had since his comeback and looked unimpressive in those 2 fights. He's been out for a year. He hasn't fought since the last time, which was Bellew versus Cleverly. Yes, it's been that last fight. Yeah, it was against Tony Bellew and Nathan Cleverly. That's the last time George Groves fought. Right? That's a concern right there. He hasn't fought since. You know, will the rest have done him good? I don't know. Being out in Vegas under Floyd's card, don't know. He's got a lot of things. He's got to catch Jack early for me. He's got to catch Jack early. If he doesn't, you know, and Jack is not a Jack can punch. Jack can punch. So I still think Grove should be, as Chris Golden's just said. I think he should be up at light heavy. I don't think he should be a super middle. You know, weight training. I mean, and he's been training for so long, George Groves. Could he have left it all in the gym? And Paddy Fitzpatrick, the trainer, how good is he a trainer? Nobody knows. I mean, if you look at Badou Jack, his last fight was against Darrell. Groves' last fight was against Dennis Douglin, who'd been knocked out 3 times before that. And then the fight before it was against Rabras. You know, who Callum Smith just went and fought. And Callum Smith dropped Rabras. Groves didn't. You know, Groves has been stopped twice. So I know a lot of people are pulling for Groves. I can't say so. I can't say Groves can do it. I'd be glad if he does do it. But just because Groves says he's the best thing since sliced bread, it doesn't mean that he is. Like I said, and I keep on saying it, this fight, I call it like this. One of these guys are going to get sensationally knocked out. Badou Jack is either going to get sensationally knocked out within 6, right? Or George Groves is going to get sensationally knocked out after 6. That's the way I see it. George Groves walks around at 14 stone. Well, there you go. Said the man should be a light heavyweight, not a super middleweight. But you think the thing is, if you move up to light heavyweight, then you're punch resistance, and then you're fighting against guys who will pull himself down from cruiserweight to light heavy. You know, it's interesting. But we'll see how Groves does tonight. Oh, Baylor TV. Oh, that's what I said. I'm in Team Berto tonight. I know what everyone else thinks, but I'm at the moment. This moment, a lot of people say that respect to you. 99% disagree with you. You want to explain? Yeah, of course I want to explain. Of course. Look, let's talk about Berto Mayweather. We might as well get it out there. Let's talk about it. Chris Golden says you can only go to well so many times. Let's talk about it. Sorry, guys. I think you'll know the joke by now. For those who don't get the joke, still water, pure Irish water, and we are doing this live from Ireland, the beautiful county of Sligo, for those who really want to know. Anyway, Mayweather, Berto, let's talk about it. There are 2 ways to look at this fight for me. You can go with the general consensus. Mayweather wins the fight by unanimous decision or stops Berto for the first time in a long time. He stops Berto. But Mayweather hasn't had many knockouts of recent times. But if you think about the guys he's fought, they've all had pretty good chins. Berto is tough and strong, but his chin is pretty shaky. And people think that Berto's B or C class fighter. Okay, I get that. I understand. And I agree. Berto's not a great fighter. I understand. He's exciting. He's exciting. He punches hard. He has half-fast hands. He's explosive. I get that. I also get that, yeah, well, you know, he's shot War and he got knocked out by Soto Carras. He got beat by Ortiz. I get that. I get that. But they both were exciting fights. He got beat up by Robert Guerrero. Yeah, I get that. And he did the shoulder roll. I get all of that. I get all of that. I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. And Floyd should win this fight by unanimous decision or by mid to late stoppage. I get it. I get it. And I understand why people don't want to turn up to see Berto versus Mayweather. But here's the alternative view. And my alternative case keeps building. Mayweather has made his handlers, and he has got handlers, over 300 million for the Pacquiao fight. So he's made a lot of money. The most money he will ever make. His handlers and his people around Floyd Mayweather. Now, Floyd is dispensable. You can be 48-0. That's cool. Get the Pacquiao fight and make as much money as you can in that Pacquiao fight. That's great. Now you're 49-0. Be the first African-American fighter to make 49-0. Little bit of history there. That's one. So we're aware of that. No other African-American fighter that I know has made it, has done it. If in the history books, what I've noticed, for what I know. Two, Floyd Mayweather has put himself in a position where he thinks he's the best fighter of all time. He's put himself above Muhammad Ali. He's put himself above many other fighters. He's number one. He's modeled himself TBE, the best ever. Okay? So we all know this. But here's where I think there's a few things we need to look into. Mike Tyson was chasing that 49-0 record. Got beat by Buster Douglas. Tyson was well stitched up that night. If you look at the referee, if you look at the long count, we talk about that. We talk about Tyson's corner. They were inexperienced amateur. Terrible. Yeah, I'm about to say he's not the best ever. And I agree, he's not the best ever. He's the best at what he does, but he's not the best ever. Okay, so that's the Tyson Douglas. Let's talk about another upset. Larry Holmes and Michael Spinks. Larry Holmes was chasing the 49-0 record. Another African-American fighter. What happened? Got beat. Spinks didn't have a chance. Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield. Evander Holyfield fought Bobby Chairs before he fought Tyson. And Tyson picked Holyfield over Lewis because he looked at the Bobby Chairs fight and said, got him. Holyfield's an old man. I'll take him out. And on that fight, people said Holyfield shouldn't fight. You know, his heart condition wasn't good enough. Too small. Tyson slashed him in around. Blah, 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 blah. I was there. I was a guy who wasn't stuck. 50 pounds on Evander Holyfield. I knew Holyfield to have Tyson's number that night. And he did. And he did it again. Now, I also believe media is well connected. And I believe also, this is not a conspiracy. I also believe that if you noticed yesterday, the best ever TBE, the best ever tennis player, Serena Williams, lost to an unranked individual. Unranked. Nobody knew this woman. Unranked. Beats the best ever tennis player. African American. The best ever TBE fights tonight against Andre Berto. Now, if that's a message, subliminal message, or a message put through to the people to say, get your bets on at Vegas, you can be guaranteed he won't get to 49-0 tonight. If it's on, then I'm onto something. Probably not. Could be nothing. Floyd may get to 49-0, and he should get to 49-0. He's 48-0 at the moment, but will he get to 49-0? That's the question. Will he get to 49-0? We're talking history. We're talking about the powers that be fiddling around and getting involved in things. And let me say one other thing to you. Virgil Hunter, smooth talking. Virgil Hunter, you know, that cool guy that's in the corner that was rubbing the back of Andre Berto, who says he would snap the ponytail of Keith Thurman. That smooth talking Virgil Hunter said out of his own mouth, the powers that be don't want Floyd to get to 49-0. If fight goes close, they'll give it to Berto. If Floyd gets dropped in this fight and gets hurt in this fight, don't be surprised to see a referee come in quickly and go, listen, I know that referee's been on Floyd's side. I just tell you, the upset is on. And if the upset is on, so many people would miss it. If the Serena Williams thing is connected to some shady business happening in Las Vegas tonight, you better be on it. I was there. I was on it. Now, that's my reasons behind it. History, 49-0. It's been fighters, African-American fighters have tried it before. They have not have come up short. The Serena Williams thing. And to top it all off, what's a way to completely make a mockery of the TBE and Floyd Mayweather's career for someone like Berto to come along and beat you? Think about that. If Berto were to cause the upset, where does that rank Floyd Mayweather and all that he's done? Where does that put him? And the amount of disrespect that Floyd's put. Listen, Floyd has turned around. Floyd has turned around and told, said he wants Berto to go back to Haiti. And we're sending back to Haiti. Now I'm just keeping it real here. So this is from one black man to another black man. This is from one brother to another brother. You're fighting a brother. You tell another brother, go back to Haiti. Yet, what happens when you fight Mexicans? You don't tell the Mexicans, go back to Mexico, do you? You didn't tell Canelo, go back to Mexico. You didn't go and tell Cotto, go back to Puerto Rico. Where that kid from? He's from Haiti. Let him go back to Haiti. We'll send him back to Haiti. Stuff like that. It's classless. It's disgusting. And I think it's just not right. So those are my reasons for just backing Andre Berto. And there's one other thing. You say what you want about Andre Berto. Andre Berto has proven that he's a champion. He's done something that Floyd Mayweather has never done, which is lose a fight, come back, and win a world title. Floyd's great at winning, and that's great. But a true champion, when they lose, they come back and they win the title again. So Floyd can't tell us about that. I'm not saying that he should lose should he lose, but Floyd can't tell us about that. And Floyd can't mentor his fighters either. How can you make your fighters about losing? So those are my thoughts. These are the thoughts I have about Berto Mayweather. And why do you want to sit down, stay up till, for those people who are in the UK, why do you want to stay up till 4:30 in the morning, 5 in the morning, if you like that, to watch Mayweather when you know the man's going to win by unanimous decision? Why not sit in your chair and say, you know what, piss it all off. It don't matter. You know what? I know Mayweather's going to win tonight by points. But you know what? I'm going to cheer Berto on tonight. I'm going to be a Berto supporter tonight. I'm going to be a Berto supporter tonight. Yeah, I'm going to support Berto tonight. And then see how you see a fight. It's a different way of looking at the fight. But I've just put out my reasons why I think. The other thing is hand speed and power and rhythm. Canelo didn't have it. Cotto doesn't have it. Guerrero doesn't have it. Mosey has the jitters. That's good. He's got the jitters. He can keep you like that. And Mosey was able to catch Mayweather with that big right hand. And Mosley was past it. And imagine Mosey had landed that right hand when he was in his early 20s. That Mosley. Would Mayweather beaten that Mosley that night? I don't think so. Ingram's lost the plot. See, you keep telling me, Jamie, that I've lost the plot. It seems that I've given you my evidence, yet because I'm not saying, yeah, Mayweather, I've lost the plot. I haven't lost the plot. I've just got a different opinion to your own. See, that's the problem with society. If you do exactly what everyone wants you to say and do, you're fine. But as soon as you decide to do something a little different, you know, fine. It's not. This is not about a bet. This is not about me. Look, I've already told you I expect Mayweather to win the fight by points, but I'm giving you an alternative view. That's all. I've not lost the plot. I've just got an alternative way to look at things. That's all it is, people. It's alternative. And that's the problem with society today. Society conforms people to say, if you don't say what everybody else says, then guess what? Then you are either lost the plot, you're crazy, you're mad. There's a word called upset. Evander Holyfield, Mike Tyson, Tyson versus Douglas, Lloyd Hannigan when he went and fought, what's his name? Don Curry. Upsets. They happen in boxing. I'm not lost the plot, Jamie. There's so many. The alternative views madness. So, madness. Talk to me about boxing, Jamie. Talk to me about the amount of upsets there've been in boxing. The amount of upsets there've been in boxing in the past. What makes that mad? You're talking like Floyd Mayweather's God. Like, he's unbeatable. He's not unbeatable. He's a man. He's been hurt. If you look at the first Castillo fight, I thought Castillo beat him in the first fight. That's my opinion. But then, hey, if Castillo got on the decision that day, we wouldn't be talking about Floyd this way. So go back and look at the Castillo fight. He didn't look unbeatable to me there. Look at the first fight against Maidana. The first fight against Maidana, and Maidana wasn't rated as some big fighter. Maidana's a very basic fighter. But he kept Floyd in the ropes for how many rounds in the fight? It was a close fight between Maidana and Floyd, the first fight. So it's not madness. An upset is there for a reason. It can happen. It's not madness. Mayweather is God. That's your opinion. Right. Well, I would then say you're mad, because no man that boxes is God. There are guys much better than Mayweather. And then if Mayweather is God, then what's Sugar Ray Robinson? Talk to me about Sugar Ray Robinson. Talk to me about let's see. Guys like Pernell Whitaker. Huh? Talk about Marvin Hagler, Sugar Ray Leonard. What are those guys? He's unbeatable by Berta, Brooke, or even Khan, maybe. But Berta, Mayweather is unbeatable for me. Well, okay, but I'm telling you, if Berta wins a fight, Berta wins the fight, and there's other hands involved. That's what I'm saying. Jamie, you need to stop talking shit. Exactly. Justin, every time to get the win. But are you listening to what I'm saying? I swear people don't listen to what I say. I swear, Jamie, you're not listening to me. I've said to you, Mayweather has made as much money as he can for the elite. He's made him as much money as he can for Pacquiao after the Pacquiao fight. He's not needed. He's no longer needed. He's no longer needed by the elite. He's not going to bring any more money like that unless he fights Pacquiao again. But if he's intending to retire on this fight, even more so. Come on, are you that it's not possible? Maybe, I don't know. Floyd is the wrong Hatton. What? Floyd is a defensive fighter. Of course, he's a defensive fighter. But relaxing them and having you on, yeah. But it's not. You're not having me on because we're not having a conversation, you know, like this. So you need to explain yourself, and people are in the room, and I don't like that sort of talk because I'm taking the time to explain myself to you, and I don't appreciate when I take my time to explain and put a point together and go for explain something to you. Then you are to a turn and say to me, I'm mad. No, it's not I'm mad. It's because I've explained myself. Now, can you explain yourself? I don't know why people do it. It's just, I find it very frustrating. But anyway, moving on. Those are my thoughts on Mayweather Berto. Like I've said, I understand. Mayweather is the overwhelming favorite in this fight. I understand. But what I'm saying to you is there's reasons for my alternative way of thinking based on history, based on a number of other factors. Mayweather's now dispensable. Mayweather's indispensable until the Pacquiao fight. Now he's won against Pacquiao. He's dispensable now. And especially if he decides not to sign a 3-fight deal as well. Then they mentioned the thing about the Ivy as well. The whole thing about character assassination and bringing the guy down. Listen, it's been done before to guys much bigger than Floyd Mayweather. And that's, if your mind is just caught up in just the boxing world and just stay in a boxing world and a boxing bubble, then you're not going to understand what I'm saying. But if you guys, Zeta Creations, let me talk to Zeta Creations. Zeta Creations, talk to me, please. I'd love to hear what you've got to say about this, because you're a man that, for sure. Yeah, those are my thoughts. I just think that sometimes history is a, and when you've got people like Virgil Hunter saying the things he's saying, it's interesting. I don't think I think that this fight is going to be far more engaging than the Pacquiao fight. And I was one of the people that said, Ezekiel the Mac says, okay, Ingram, you're 100% on the money. Floyd will have to win this comprehensively in points or by knockout, otherwise they'll give it to Berto. Indeed, there you go. They will give it to Berto. They will give it to Berto. Anything now to bring that guy's character, Mayweather, down, even more so, now's the time to do it. The IVs come out now. The thing about the IV and Mayweather, that's character assassination. That's the start to bring him down. Then if you were to get beat by Berto, if we were to get beat by Berto tonight, I know that crap he went and did the other day when he went and elevated himself and put himself as #1 in the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, the best fighter of all time, put himself above men like Sugar Ray Robinson. How dare he? And Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali fought all comers in their prime. Foreman, Fraser, Shavers, Norton. Man. Yeah, I know you don't want to stay up and see the fight because of what, but I think you should stay up. Might be very interesting, because don't look at the Pacquiao fight. You see, Pacquiao and Berto are two different types of fighters. See, thing is, if you look at the way Pacquiao fights, Pacquiao has never been good against guys that can box, never ever, and he's been crap against counter punches. He was always vulnerable to a straight right hand, always. And Floyd's the best defensive fighter he's ever fought. So he's never looked good. Never looked good. He always struggled against Marquez. So if you're going to struggle against Marquez, then Zeta says, I believe Berto has been paid off. Really? I ain't so sure. Well, Berto supposedly slept with one of Floyd's girls. That's what it was. Floyd didn't like it, so he wants to go and beat him up. That's why I heard it's down to. Floyd's an excellent fighter, all-time great, and Berto is nowhere near that level. I just don't see in any way how Berto can without a freak incident. The whole Ivy thing is to get into the papers. Of course, people talking in forums. Of course. That's how it starts. It starts from a seed and it just explodes. All-time. Yeah, okay, but that what you're saying, Jamie, doesn't hold weight in my argument. It holds weight in another argument, but it don't hold weight in my argument. My argument was Larry Holmes was down as an all-time great when he fought Michael Spinks, and then Spinks came along and ruined that. Mike Tyson came out of prison and was meant to destroy Evander Holyfield. And people put Mike down as an all-time great fighter. Holyfield upset the odds. Donald Curry was undisputed champion, and Lloyd Hunnigan came across and knocked him out. Upsets happen. So your statement there that Floyd's an excellent fighter and is all-time great means absolutely nothing. If the upset is on, the upset is on. And believe me, if the powers that be don't want you to win, they will ensure and give their damn best shot to ensure you don't win. That is a fact. Let me tell you that. Fact. My take on the Ivy thing, I'll tell you this much. When Floyd Mayweather tells people and tries to make fools out of fans and says, you know, I want everything to be on a level playing field, there is no level playing field with Floyd Mayweather. All your points rely on hindsight. Have you heard the expression that we don't have that here? Hindsight is how we learn, because history, my friend, look it up. History repeats itself. History repeats itself. I believe that Larry Holmes and Spinks was at one time. Holyfield Tyson was another time. Tyson and Douglas another time. Don Curry and Hannigan was another time. All my points are hindsight. No, they're not hindsight. They're not hindsight. Hindsight would be, well, if I'd known that beforehand, I would have done. No, I'm using something that hasn't happened yet to predict a future event. That's not hindsight. That's using the past to predict the future. Hindsight would be for me to make a prediction or say something after the event has happened and then turn around and tell you, oh yeah, if I thought about this, this, and this, maybe that would have happened. I'm not trying to give you hindsight. I'm giving you foresight. It's foresight, my friend, not hindsight. Foresight, not hindsight. How will they ensure it? How will they? There are many ways they can ensure it. The powers that be. There are many ways they can ensure it. While Floyd's drinking his drink, they can slip it in his drink. There's many things they can do. The fight's close, they can rig it. There's many things they can do to upset the man. Cotto Canelo. You know, at first I really went with Canelo, thinking Canelo would do a number on Cotto. But Cotto's left hook is going to be interesting in this fight. If Cotto can land the left hook early, and he was shaking up Canelo pretty badly. If you go back and look at when Canelo fought his brother Cotto, I know Canelo went on to win that fight, but Canelo was badly shaken up by Cotto, by his younger brother. So don't know. I thought Canelo would blast him out of there before. I think Cotto's best chance is to win this fight early. If it's the later rounds, I'd give it to Canelo. Cotto early, Canelo late. Has Floyd beaten a prime elite fighter? That's a good question. Well, you know, say Canelo. If you're going to say that, he's prime elite. But was he prime elite or was he green elite? I don't know. Depends how you think of Canelo. Who's Canelo's best win? I don't know. So in terms of Jamie, I'm not giving you hindsight, my friend. I'm giving you foresight. Foresight is looking into the future. Hindsight is looking in the past. Being in the present, looking into the past, saying, I wish I had. Foresight is saying, this is what I think will happen, or these are the things that could happen based on the past. So I'm giving you foresight. Anyway, so it's foresight. Drained, yeah. Canelo being drained. If Canelo's drained, then Cotto stands a good chance. Hamza Izza Jennings says, do you think Joshua is maybe a bit stiff and not bouncy enough to handle guys a bit? Who do I think will win between Dillian Whyte and Anthony Joshua? If Dillian Whyte fights the way he fought tonight, like he fought against Minto, he'll find himself in the same situation as Gary Cornish was. Because there was one thing that I picked up what was very good about Joshua. When Cornish was coming to him, the punch he threw was a reactive punch. The right hand he threw was a reactive punch. Cornish came in, bang, he hit him with the right hand. I was really impressed with Joshua's ability to throw a fast right hand on the counter. That was nice. If Dillian Whyte comes in with his head in the air, with his chin up in the air, and comes bowling forward like he did against Minto, he'll be finding himself in a similar situation to Gary Cornish, stunned by the power of Joshua. It could be an early night. If Dillian Whyte can get off come off the back foot and counter what Joshua does and hit Joshua earlier, then I think it's a good fight. It just depends who's the better conditioned fighter as well. Because after 3 or 4 rounds, this could be anyone's fight. So it's but I like Joshua's counter shots. His right hand was nice. How he backed up, but he does back up in straight lines. Joshua, if you look the way when corners attacked him, he backed straight back to the ropes. He didn't move to the side from the jab. He moved straight back. So that's another thing we need to look at. You know, we know what Dillian Whyte looked like because Minto hit him. We need to know what Joshua looks like, and can he still look as classy and as good when he's getting hit back by a good fighter? That's a question. You're only going to know how good Joshua is when he gets hit back. That might be too late. We don't know. We really don't know. Do I think Joshua is maybe stiff and not bouncy enough to handle guys with a big jab? Don't know. I think I'm still concerned about the physique of Anthony Joshua in a long testing fight. His physique, he is much looser than Bruno. Give him that. Joshua is much looser than Bruno, but I still don't like the bulk he carries. I want to see how how that body handles itself in rounds 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Will his body be able to go through those in a tough, hard fight where it's give and take, or will his stamina be sapped very quickly? We don't know. We don't know what that body can do. You have a ground in your pocket, and you have to pick a winner and a round. Who would you pick? Joshua Whyte, round, and why? That's a good point. If I had a grand in my pocket, do you know what I'd do? I'll stick 500 on one and 500 on the other. Yeah, so I don't lose. 500 one and 500, and I would say I'm going to go with Joshua. Joshua in 6. I just think at this point in time, Joshua is a bit more polished between the two fighters. Joshua has had the more experience at world level in terms of what he did as an amateur, and that world experience, I think that's going to be key. It's going to help him a lot. I also think that Joshua seems to be like Dillian Whyte's getting himself together now. He's kind of scrambling to get himself together now. Whereas I think that Joshua has got himself together. You get what I'm saying? And, you know, Joshua's just walking the pathway. He's just doing the right things because he's put the good seed in plan from day one. Whereas Dillian Whyte is now trying to put that seed into the ground now and expecting it to flourish by December. At the moment, the only way I see Dillian Whyte winning this fight is through heart and guts and strength. Technique, you know, how much can he better his technique between now and December? Jamie's back. Basing everything on hindsight. Hindsight is, again, hindsight is when you're in the future or you have seen. Hindsight would be me looking at Cornish and Joshua saying, oh, Cornish has got a weak chin, he's going to get blasted out in the round. I should have said that. That's hindsight. Foresight is me saying, I predict that Anthony Joshua is going to knock Cornish out in the first round because he's never had a good chin. And as soon as he drops his left hand, the right hand's going to come over the top, and that's the end of him. That's foresight. Hindsight is talking about something after it's happened. So stop using hindsight. I'm talking about foresight. I'm giving you foresight. Basing everything on hindsight. Looking on things that have happened on when they shouldn't have is a basis for backing Berto. What? Look, Jamie, you like Mayweather. You think Mayweather's going. I respect your decision. I respect what you got to say. Fine. End of conversation. If the fight happens, I think PD testing should be indicated. Yeah, I think you should. I think you should. I think drug testing is very important in boxing. It's clearly very important in boxing. Very, very important in boxing. Very, very important. But will it happen? I mean, like I said, back at the 300, when Floyd Mayweather turns around and says to you about everyone being on a level playing field, how can they be on a level playing field? You got one man that's making 300 million, world champion, unbeaten, and you got another guy who's bringing in 10 million, 5 million, 2.5 million, a million. Right. The one guy can choose the judges. It can influence the judges, have his own referee, and choose where he wants to fight. How many world champions do you know that fight in Las Vegas all the time? I know only one. Even Klitschko. Klitschko's always fighting in Germany. Well, that's not actually true, because at least you've seen Klitschko fight in Russia and America. You've never seen Floyd fight in Russia. You've never seen Floyd fight in the UK. Everything's in Vegas. Why is it all in Vegas? Is it because he's got everything set up like nice and cushy in Las Vegas? Is it because of the taxes? I don't know. But I do know that having it set up that way suits him. So Floyd is not on a level playing field. Let Floyd get paid the same amount of money as every other fighter, or around the same bracket, or just a little higher than everybody else. And then we'll see who's on a level playing field. But let me put it this way. If Berto were to cause the upset, you can be guaranteed he didn't do it alone. That's what I think. If he wins tonight, it's because he didn't do it alone. I know, again, for the final time, I understand. I know Floyd's the better fighter. We don't have to go through there. I've explained my reasons why. I've broken down my reasons why. And I've gone outside of just the boxing realm and taken a little further up and said, look, these are the reasons why. So if the fight gets close, if somehow Berto gets 12 rounds and it's a tough fight, if you can keep Floyd on the ropes for 12 rounds, hey, who knows? If Floyd's now 38, or 38, who knows? Floyd's getting older. I don't know. Don't know. Floyd may take Berto lightly. Who knows? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Floyd may just got to hit Berto the first round and fall over, and Floyd continues. Who knows? But I think this is going to be a very interesting fight. Floyd Sr. says he doubts son retirement. Is that a way of Mayweather telling us he has changed his mind on retirement? I still think the 50th fight might be with Pacquiao. That's what I think. Who else is going to bring you that sort of money again? Especially with Pacquiao talking about the shoulder. Who else? Pacquiao. Pacquiao needs Floyd. He needs the money again. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I personally don't think Pacquiao wants to fight again. But I think Bob Arum wants to make a bit more money out of him. But yeah. I always get the impression that Danny Garcia mentioned something about Floyd's taxes. There you go. There you go. There you go. Like I said before, I don't. Floyd was indispensable until the Pacquiao fight. Now the Pacquiao fight is over. Now he's dispensable. That's what I think. Unless he fights Pacquiao again, and even if he fights Pacquiao again, there's no way that's going to be 300 million fight again. So those are my thoughts on that. I know some of the thoughts I've got are controversial. They're a little different, but hey, I never did see myself going back. Those are my thoughts. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching. I'm going to go and get ready for George Groves. I hope Groves can do it, because then we can see Groves to Gale 2. And I'll be back in Berto. Thank you all for tuning in. GGG, no, I don't. Listen, GGG, look at GGG's resume. He hasn't fought anybody decent. I mean, like, no. If Floyd beats GGG, you know what people say? People say, well, who did GGG beat? I think, no. Gennady Golovkin was getting hit with punches by bloody Willie Monroe. You know, no. Let's see how he does against Lemieux. Let's see him build up. Let's see him do something. Let's see him beat Lemieux. Let's see him become. Let's see him be the best in his own division first. It's not even. Everyone thinks he's the best in the division. Let's let him be. Pay-per-view numbers. Yeah. Your pay-per-view numbers. Yeah, but if you listen to even Angel Garcia, who the hell knows GGG? I mean, boxing purists know who GGG is, and his name is started growing, but he's not bringing in big numbers. GGG, is he? Let's be honest, he's not bringing in big numbers. He's not. You know, he's not bringing the hype. Yeah, it would be hype. It'd be the same sort of hype like Pacquiao. But GGG walks in straight lines, and he walks in straight lines. He's easy to hit, and I just don't see what he does, which is so great. That's going to give Floyd problems. I don't see how GGG is any better than Canelo in closing the range down. I don't see him any. He hits hard, but then hey, there are lots of guys that hit hard at Mayweather's fought. I just don't see GGG being the hype. It's hype. GGG is lots of hype. He's a good fighter. How good? Don't know, because we haven't seen him being tested yet. Let's see this guy get tested. Let's see him fight guys that can punch. Let's see him get guys that can move. Let's see him get guys that are as good as him or just as good as him, and let's see how he does. That's what I want to see. I'm sorry, I don't know how people can put GGG in the same class as Andre Ward. Andre Ward's a man that's fought the best there was at super middleweight and beat the best of the fighters at super middleweight. Former champions, current champions, beat them. So I think GGG's got a lot to do. He's got a lot to do. You've got 2 pound for pound Hall of Famers there in Ward, I think, and in Mayweather. So hype, yes, but I don't think hype is one thing, substance is another. Just don't, and I just don't see what Golovkin does. I really don't. I just see him walking forward, taking a whole heap of punches. That's what I see. I see Golovkin walking forward and getting hit. Golovkin get forward, get hit, and as he goes for his punches, Floyd being gone. And if he comes down and fights at light middleweight, then people say that Golovkin was weight drained, and who knows what Golovkin looks like at light middleweight. His power might not be the same at light middleweight, and what's his punch resistance going to be like at light middleweight? Will he be able to do the same things he does at middleweight at light middleweight? You're going to get a guy that's now catch weight. Oh, Floyd weight drained him. So I can't be hyped for that fight, unfortunately. I can't be hyped. And yeah, I'm more interested in Sean Porter versus Thurman. But I think Porter beats Thurman at this point. But yeah, I'm going now because I want to get ready for this boxing. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate you all. And don't forget to check out the interviews that we've done, the interviews and shows, an audience with Peter Fury. Rico Van Herdren did an interview with him, the kickboxing world champion, who's sparring with Tyson Fury at the moment. Check out what he thinks of Tyson Fury and what the training session's been like. He's been with him for the last 3 years. Good insight on that. Eddie Chambers, good interview with him. Dave Allen, the heavyweight contender. Check him out. Well done today, mate. A lot of difficult questions there. See you next time. Yeah, thank you for the questions. Appreciate you all. Thank you so much. 16 people watching. Thank you for watching. Appreciate you all. Enjoy the boxing. It's going to be a great show, I'm sure. And good luck, George Groves. He's going to need some luck tonight. But if he lands early and hard and early, I believe we'll see a new WBC champion. If not, it'll be third time unlucky for George. He's got to win.